going on YouTube? It's your girl Mercedes. Mercedes gang. You feel me? The gang, because we don't come with no price tag, period. Anyways, y'all, we back with another reaction video. Eugene Big U Henley, hip-hop mogul turned killer. I heard about this dude, though. I heard he been rocking and, like, doing this for a little minute and then try to, like, change his image, but he never really changed. And then I heard he was involved with Nip and PNB. And I'm just hearing a lot of stuff about this dude, so I ain't even gonna talk much, but let's just get straight into the video. Please like, share, and subscribe to Blackie Speaks, and please like, share, and subscribe to moi, and let's get it.
One of LA's most prominent music and community figures is now facing serious criminal charges.
That's right. Federal authorities say Eugene Big U Henley led a violent criminal enterprise responsible for murder, extortion, and fraud.
Eugene Big U Henley, leader of the infamous Rolling 60s neighborhood Crips in Los Angeles, built his public image as a legitimate businessman, a community leader, and an activist in gang prevention. But behind the scenes, the reality was much darker. Henley was siphoning taxpayer funds meant for at-risk black youth to fuel his criminal enterprise.
Developing Options received millions from LA's Gang Reduction and Youth Development Program.
He used that goodwill to benefit himself. He diverted money from that charity and lined his own pockets with it, and that money was ultimately traced, and that we can show that he used it for personal purpose.
And on top of that, he's accused
up.
of murdering a 21-year-old.
Hold on, wait a minute. Yo, you built a charity or did a charity and then took all that money and it didn't even go to the charity? The fuck? Like, that doesn't even make any sense to me. I'm sorry. Like, you're just stealing from people at this point.
By shooting him in the head, dragging his body off the interstate, and dumping him in a desert ditch.
I heard about him
Williams
too.
recorded a diss track about Henley. Prosecutors claim Henley then confronted the rapper, drove him to North Las Vegas, killed him, and dumped his body in a ditch back in January 2021.
And all this was happening while he was
That's so
receiving
disgusting.
millions of dollars in funding from the U.S. government. The Big U story is wild, and in this video, we're breaking it all down together, so let's get into it. On March 19, 2025, just 2 weeks ago, the U.S. Attorney's Office in California announced a 43-count indictment against 58-year-old hip-hop music executive Eugene Henley, also known as Big U. Among the charges were fraud, extortion, and...
I ain't gonna lie, he ain't no better than Suge Knight on some real shit. Like, it's giving me another 2.0 of Suge Knight in a way.
After the story went viral, it introduced a lot of people to Big U's existence. But Big U's run-ins with the law go way back, long before this latest indictment.
Yeah.
To really understand how we got here, we need to go back to where it all started. Back in 1992, Big U was already making headlines, but not for music or activism. At just 26 years old, Eugene Henley was sentenced to 23 years in prison after attempting to rob an undercover sheriff's deputy of 33 pounds of cocaine during a sting operation. According to prosecutors, Henley and one of his associates, Eddie Wagner, believed the officer was a drug dealer. Wagner set up the deal, but when Henley arrived, he pulled a gun and demanded the drugs. That's when law enforcement moved in and arrested both of them. While Henley denied being involved with any gang back then, authorities described him as a key figure, possibly even top leader of the Rolling 60s Crips, one of the most feared gangs in southwest Los Angeles at the time. Henley ended up serving 13 years behind bars and was released in 2004. It seemed like he was turning over a new leaf. He founded a nonprofit called Developing Options, a Los Angeles-based organization focused on gang intervention and youth outreach. According to its mission, it aimed to give young people alternatives to violence and crime through advocacy, education, sports, and mentorship. The program provided kids in South Central Los Angeles with a safe outlet and earned Henley recognition as a respected community leader. But Henley wasn't just focused on community work. He was also making moves in the music industry. Not long after launching Developing Options,
It be the same motherfuckers, bro. I'm sorry. I heard that Big U had something to do with Nip. You know what I'm saying? So the fact that, like, you over here hugged up on dude and taking pictures with dude, taking pictures with fam and this and that, and you were involved in his passing, it's just kind of wild to me. Like, you can't trust nobody, bro.
he began managing the career of hip-hop artist Corrupt, further expanding his influence and embedding himself deeper in the entertainment world.
My boy
Corrupt
Corrupt
eventually introduced Henley to Death Row Records and Suge Knight, who, according to Henley, helped him financially and put him in a position to win. It was through those industry ties that Henley met an upcoming rapper and a fellow Rolling 60s member, which was the late Nipsey Hussle.
Sorry.
Nipsey at one point lived with Henley's family for a time and recorded some of his earliest music in their downstairs studio. So this guy wasn't just deeply connected to the music industry. He also managed to leverage his criminal past into a story of redemption positioning himself as a respected community leader for black youth. And it worked. He ran multiple businesses, a nonprofit, and received large amounts of money from the US government. And for a while, everything looked solid until it wasn't. According to the federal complaint filed in his case, the FBI began investigating the Rolling 60s Crips in August 2020. By the following year, that focus shifted to what agents referred to as the Big U Enterprise, a criminal operation allegedly tied directly to Eugene Henley and his long-standing influence within the Rolling 60s. On wiretapped calls, Henley was caught making bold claims. According to the complaint, he allegedly bragged about being bigger than any member of the Rolling 60s, even Nipsey Hussle. Henley and Nipsey had a complicated relationship, one marked by tension and unresolved issues. Over the years, some even speculated that Big U may have played a role in Nipsey's death, though no evidence has ever supported that claim.
Him know his brother was my equal at that time or any other time. You know what I'm saying? So he had his own little squad and we was together, bro. We was, like I said, look at the videos.
According to official court documents unsealed at the time of his arrest, between 2010 and 2024, Eugene Henley's criminal group, referred to as the Big U Enterprise, was operating like a mafia-style organization. Federal prosecutors say Henley used his reputation and deep ties to the Rolling 60s and other street gangs to intimidate people and businesses across Los Angeles. While the Big U Enterprise sometimes worked with the Rolling 60s for mutual gain, the feds made it clear this wasn't just a street gang connection. They described it as its own separate and organized criminal operation involved in serious crimes like murder, extortion, robbery, sex trafficking, fraud, and illegal gambling. Let's go over one of the most disturbing allegations against Eugene Henley, which is the murder of a young man named Rayshawn Williams. Rayshawn Williams, referred to as RW in official court documents, was just 21 years old, a rising star with raw talent, and a former wide receiver for the Crenshaw High School football team. He was full of potential, someone chasing a dream and trying to make something of himself. He wasn't just another artist on Henley's radar. He was being mentored by him. Henley had coached Rayshawn in football during his younger years and later brought him under his wing musically, eventually signing him to his label, Unique Music. This wasn't, however, just business. It was personal. Henley had played a direct role in shaping Rayshawn's path, positioning himself as a mentor for him. In January 2021, Unique Music arranged for Rayshawn to travel from California to Los Angeles. The goal was to give the young artist a dedicated week to work, a fresh environment, complete studio access, and space to create. Henley's team booked him an Airbnb, and everything was lined up to help him focus on music and take the next step in his career. But what happened next turned that trip into a nightmare that left Rayshawn dead in a ditch. Just 5 days before his death, Rayshawn Williams recorded a diss track. In the song, he referred to someone as the bro that makes some money and hinted that he might get shot in the face for thinking shit funny. He also referred a .38 revolver with no trace. According to federal agent Kevin Ruza, the diss appeared to be aimed at Eugene Henley, the very man who mentored Rayshawn and was representing him under his independent label, Unique Music. Whether Big U had actually heard the song before the murder remains unclear, but one thing was for certain. This young man had recorded a song where he seemingly dissed Big U, and now he was on a trip to Las Vegas, fully funded by the record label owned by the same man he had just disrespected, the same man who's now accused of killing him. What happened next is laid out in chilling detail by investigators.
No, because I was about to ask, like, why would he diss him unless, like, he knew what the fuck Big U had going on, like, this whole entire time, which I would think an artist that's signed under him, and, you know, in that circle, probably would discover some pretty disturbing things.
Once in Vegas, things didn't go entirely as planned. Rayshawn was expected to record 1 track a day, but according to investigators, he started missing sessions. What was meant to be a focused week of creativity quickly turned into a stretch of unexplained absences. And that's when tension reportedly began to build. On January 23, 2021, when Rayshawn didn't show up for yet another session, investigators say that Big U and his associate, Robinson, drove from Los Angeles to Las Vegas to confront him. A friend of Rayshawn told authorities that Big U arrived at the Airbnb around 2 a.m. on January 24th and asked why Rayshawn hadn't been showing up. And that's when Rayshawn Williams told Big U he didn't have a ride. Now, according to investigators, Henley felt like Rayshawn was wasting his time, not showing up to sessions, not taking the opportunity seriously. And when you add in the diss track where he was seemingly dissing him, which he recorded just days earlier, it's easy to see that things could have rubbed Henley the wrong way. I mean, Big U was known for demanding respect, and he wasn't shy about using his gang ties to intimidate people and businesses. The feds believed all of it. The missed studio sessions, the alleged disrespect, the lyrics, and built-up tension was what eventually turned this deadly. Later that day on January 24th, 2021, Big U
Wow.
arrived at the studio around 7 p.m. and Rayshawn Williams showed up a few hours later and recorded music until midnight. Everything seemed all good at the time. Around 12:30 a.m., Big U left the studio in the gray Lexus he had been driving with his right-hand man, Sylvester Robinson. Shortly before 1 a.m., Big U's phone stopped reporting any location data and didn't resume until about 2:15 a.m. Around 1:30 a.m. on that night, surveillance footage from the Airbnb they had put Rayshawn in showed a dark gray or silver sedan pulling up. Rayshawn Williams got out of the passenger side, went inside the Airbnb, and came back with his suitcase, despite the fact that the Airbnb was still booked for another day and his flight wasn't scheduled until later.
Nah, I'm sorry. Y'all know he did that. He done blast that little boy. You know he did that. Y'all know he did that. I'm sorry. It's very written and clear. Like he took, yeah. I ain't even, he sent them to God. Yeah, he sure did. I'm sorry. It's all there. I mean, shoot.
So the real question is, why was Rayshawn leaving the Airbnb with his suitcase, even though he wasn't scheduled to leave Vegas the next day?
He
Around
must have
3
used
a.m.
some
that
shit.
same night, Big U returned to the studio, but this time he was alone. A witness later told investigators he looked like he was drenched, either in sweat or water. When asked why he looked like he just jumped out of the ocean, Big U claimed that he was just putting in some work in the gym. The next morning, around 9 a.m. on January 25th, police received a call about a body found in
Nah.
a desert area
I'm
just
sorry.
outside of Las Vegas, near Clark Peterson Boulevard, about 4 miles northeast of the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. The victim was identified as Rayshawn Williams, a promising, aspiring young rapper and a former wide receiver for the Crenshaw High School football team. Rayshawn had been shot in the face, and investigators believed a revolver was used, a weapon that doesn't leave
Bruh.
shell casing.
The same thing he said in his lyrics was the same thing Big U did to him that night. You cannot tell me this man did not just sit here and give y'all the answers to his own death. Like, no. Stop. Cut the
behind.
bullshit.
At the time, investigators collected DNA from Rayshawn's body and compared it to Henley's. The results came back inconclusive, but Henley still couldn't be ruled out as a possible match. But the DNA wasn't the only thing raising suspicion. In the days that followed, the FBI alleges that Henley took steps to cover his tracks. He arranged to have recording equipment removed from the studio and ordered the destruction of surveillance footage. According to the affidavit, investigators believe that video would have shown an altercation between Henley and Rayshawn and potentially captured the two leaving the studio together before the murder. About a
Out.
month after the murder,
Ow,
the
I'm doing
FBI's
a
LA
video.
Metropolitan Task Force on Violent Gangs
No.
launched a full-scale investigation into the Big U enterprise.
Y'all sure
and its
love to
ties
bug me
the
at a
Roaring
wrong
60s
timing.
Crips. But the murder of Rayshawn Williams isn't the only serious allegation tied
My
to
bad,
Eugene
yo.
Henley. Henley is also accused of using Development Options, the very nonprofit that built his reputation. According to federal prosecutors, Henley submitted a bogus COVID-19 relief application, stating that his music label, Unique Music, had made $200,000 in 2019,
That shit is
when in reality,
annoying.
it had posted a $5,000 loss and wasn't eligible for funding. On top of that, between 2018 and 2023, Development Options received over $2.3 million in public funding through the Gang Reduction and Youth Development Program
Wow.
under the
Okay.
LA Mayor's office. Prosecutors allege Henley diverted portions of those public funds, along with more than $40,000 in private donations from NBA players, into his personal accounts. And aside from the COVID-19 relief scam, Henley was also
This dude
defrauding
is a
companies,
leech.
donors,
I'm sorry. He a whole leech. He over here leeching off of everybody. That is not no real gangster stuff. No.
and celebrities. According to prosecutors, he convinced some notable people, like NBA star Draymond Green and Lakers legend Shaquille O'Neal, to donate to his nonprofit, then quietly funnel that money into his own personal bank accounts. Like, how exactly do you think that you're gonna get away with siphoning money from your so-called nonprofit that's literally funded by the government and think that nobody's gonna notice? That's crazy.
Period.
And it wasn't just Big U
I'm
who
sorry.
got caught up in it.
He's stupid.
Aside from the 10 Rolling 60s members who were arrested, a few of his associates were hit with charges too, for some pretty wild stuff. One of them, Armani Afledje, was charged with transporting someone for prostitution. Another person, Termaine Williams, also known as Loose Cannon, got hit with a robbery charge. Then you've got Frederick Blanton Jr., who were both charged with bank fraud. According to the U.S. Attorney's Office in LA, all of them are currently in custody. The RICO charges that Big U is facing paint him as the head of a full-blown criminal operation, And the wild part about this entire thing is that he was allegedly doing all this while running a nonprofit that claimed to fight gang violence. He was taking government money to promote anti-gang programs while staying active in the very lifestyle he claimed to be working against. So if you're a taxpayer in California, yeah, this is where your money has been, going. I'd be mad too. What makes this Big U story so wild is how he managed to flip his past in the streets into a redemption narrative and actually managed to secure government funding off of that. For something like this to happen, you don't just need a clean image, you need serious connections. And that's something Big U clearly had. I'm just confused how his nonprofit managed to, stay under the radar for so long. Like, how was he able to take money and get all this money and run it up for years without getting caught?
I honestly just have no clue.
But from another perspective, the feds actually started looking into this back in 2021, and that's when they realized that some wasn't adding up. And if you know how the feds move out here, right? They don't always hit you right away. They let you run up the tab. You know what I'm saying? Dine and dash a few times here and there, and then on that seventh time when you're ready to sneak out the back, boom, right? They just hit you in the face, and they got a bunch of receipts, a full play-by-play of everything you've done. I wouldn't be surprised if there was an informant or two involved in this case, especially with how many people were tied to it. When you've got a crew that big, someone's always talking, whether it was to save themselves or cut a deal. I'm sure someone gave the feds exactly what they needed to build this case from the inside. If you made it this far, drop a like on this video. If you're new,
somebody definitely said something. I'm sorry. Yikes. Y'all let me know in the comment section what y'all think about this whole Big U situation. Do y'all think he has something to do with PNB Rock? Y'all think he has something to do with Nip? Do y'all think these allegations are true? Let me know. Let me know in the comment section below. Anyways, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please like, share, and subscribe. Please go check out my boy, Blackie Speaks. Oh, I like that one. Because I got a lot of information off of this. I didn't even know dude was really that, you know what I'm saying? I thought he was just somebody that kind of came out of nowhere, but shoot, look like he got some things under his belt. So anyways, y'all, I'm gonna catch y'all in another mother freaking if you guys want me to react to any more videos, please hit me up in the DMs at Mercedes5_ on Instagram. All right, now I'm gonna catch y'all in another mother freaking video. Deuces.